Okay, good. Okay, everyone, let me give you the slide. This is the slide of the first materials. Remember that I will not share you the slide. So you have to be able to, what is it? You have to be very prudent in us in listening my course, yeah, because I do not and I will not give you the slides. So I just give you the book or some books, yeah. Because if I give you the slide, I'm afraid that you are learning from the slide. You are reading from the slide, and I don't like that, because when you read something from the slide, it means that you don't read the book, right? Slide is not too important in learning, because slide is only the media for making our learning easier. So you don't have to read the slide, because slides is only points by points lecturing. It means that you have to read the book comprehensively, and then you have to discuss and then write it down everything. Yeah, because in a in a visual learning like this, I cannot guarantee what you are doing out there, right? So what you are doing out there cannot be what is it ensure clearly. What I mean is whether you understand, whether you not understanding, even whether you read, or even you whether you are listening my courses or not. Who knows? There is someone cannot detect this, even I myself. So what I mean is that trust is very important in video learning. So that's why I need you to do whatever you want to do, but you have to read. You have to read, and you have to follow my instructions, and you have to give me your digital tracks, or what is it, the kinds of what is it, digital indicators to me that you are doing something, right? Sorry, this is not the slide. Oh, okay, let me. Okay, the slide should be. Curriculum design, curriculum materials. Okay. Okay. Here we are. The first things that we have to know is what is curriculum. Curriculum is the word, the singular word. Yeah. If you want to make it plural, it is called curricula. Yeah. Curriculum is the singular, curricula is the plural, right? So many curricula, one curriculum, something like that. This is to understand the word curriculum. So today or this semester, you will learning curriculum development, curriculum and material development. Curriculum means you are talking in general something about curriculum, but the focus will be on materials development, because you will you will have to understand, or something that you need very the very important thing that you need later on after you become teachers. Actually it's not really the curriculum, but yeah, curriculum is very important, but the most important thing is how to develop materials, and how to develop lesson planning later on. There are the so-called lesson, or what is it, learning, teaching and learning devices, something like materials, media, and then what is it, lesson planning and so on. So there are so many things called the so-called perangkat pembelajaran in bahasa Indonesia. But in this course, you specifically learn the so-called materials development. You will have you will get knowledge of how to make materials and how to design materials in language teaching and learning. Before talking about the curriculum or the definitions of curriculum, I think it is very important for us to look at as a whole the relationship between teaching and learning and the other things about teaching and learning. So just have a look at the slide. If you have these slides, you can read from the very beginning, learning activities, and then fundamental concept. You have feedback, you have students' learning needs, and then desired learning outcomes, and assessment and actual learning outcomes. First of all, when you talk about learning and teaching, or teaching and learning, things that you have to ask is, what kinds of outcomes or learning outcome will you take or will you achieve? That's why in learning, in teaching, the things that the student or even the teacher usually the teacher is asking is what kinds of learning outcomes. So learning outcomes will influence or will determine learning activities or teaching activities, because if you don't know the learning outcomes, then your learning will be undirected, right? There is no clear direction of your teaching and learning. That's why you need to know the learning outcomes of your students. If you teach English, for example, what kinds of language aspect do you want to teach in your teaching? Are you going to teach reading? Are you going to teach speaking, and so on? It depends very much on the guides of things that you have to do in the classroom. That guide is syllabus or curriculum. Later on, we talk about the definition of those two terms. So the next question is, who will be involved, or who will you involve when you are learning or teaching? There are so many, too many factors, or so many staffs, or so many people, or even the things, or even the institution that you need to involve in learning. For example, academic staff, teachers. It is important to have teachers in learning. If there is no teachers, learning is becoming autonomous learning. That's okay, as far as you have clear guidance of learning, then the learning will be better. And as far as you have outcomes or learning outcomes clearly, then your learning will be better, will be good. Although there is no teacher, but teacher is still very important, because teacher will guide the students to do the better thing in this case. That's why we need teacher, we need staff, teaching staff or academic staffs. We need also students. Of course, there are students who are learning. We need infrastructure. We need institution like schools or whatever. We also need technology and so on. So there are many things that we need when we want to learn something, and those are things that you have to make into one particular things. That is called curriculum. But let me give you the further explanation about the learning outcomes. As a teacher or as a learner, what is the first thing you have to know? Learning outcomes, as I told you earlier. But there are several learning outcomes. Learning outcomes in terms of lesson, in the level of lesson. I think this is the outcomes that you want to achieve for that lessons. In the lesson, you have several meetings of several chapters, for example. Many meetings in the lesson. For example, if you are teaching English for secondary school, SMP kelas 2 misalnya, for example, Then you need to know the outcomes of the SMP Kelas 2. The syllabus, you can look at it in the syllabus. And the syllabus will guide you what kinds of things do you will you cover in your learning later on. This is the learning outcomes in the level of lesson, right? But it is not only such thing, but you need outcomes of the course. The course mean it can be, what is it, kind of, if you go down to the SMP or SD, SMA, then you see semester, one semester you need the kinds of course time of the learning. But in education, higher education like us in perguruan tinggi, you will have the so-called mata kuliah or courses. But in what is it, in SMP or SMA in secondary school, I think there are so many, what is it, outcomes that you need to achieve over there. English outcomes, or even in SD, in elementary school of Indonesian, what is it, institution, I think you need a kinds of thematic outcomes. Thematics mean the theme, yeah, the themes. So the outcomes is designed based on the themes, not the topic of the English, but the theme. The theme can include many different what is it, subjects like English, and then what is it, history, mathematics, and so on. This is in the elementary school of Indonesia. But when you go to the SMP or SMA or SMK, you will have the so-called outcome, learning outcome for certain particular lesson or particular, what is, subjects like English, especially English outcomes or English outcomes. The learning outcomes of English for SMK, for example, kelas 1, kelas 2, and so on. And you have the so-called little bigger, you have the so-called outcome for program. The outcomes of program is the learning outcome from of the institutional outcomes like SMP as a whole, or SMA as a whole, or even the, what is it, the institution like us, the higher education institution in university as a whole, faculty. For example, you are now in the faculty of teacher training and educations, you will have a kinds of you have a kinds of program outcomes over there. If you look at the what is it, the learning outcome of the Prodi, then you know the outcomes of the Prodi, the outcomes of the faculty, the outcomes of the learning outcomes of the university, Mulawan Man University as a whole, and so on. And going higher, you will have the so-called degree level outcomes, the bigger one, the biggest one. Degree means for S1, for S2, and so on. So all are learning outcomes. So in what is it, delivering the things in teaching, I think this learning outcome is going back on going out and going in and out. What I mean is from the very smaller to the very bigger, and so on. So you need a kinds of seeing prudently what kinds of outcome do you want to learn, or do you want to achieve in this case. And in a teaching, to know the outcomes and to design the outcomes, to to break down the outcomes into several things. In a teaching later on, you need the kinds of guidance, and the big guidance is the curriculum. So in the teaching, the outcomes is designed firstly, I mean, in the curriculum, we have a kinds of intended learning outcomes, and after that, the outcomes is breaking down on they will be broken down into several aspects, and those aspects will be achieved in the teaching and learning process. And to make sure whether the learning outcome is achieved or not, I think you need a kinds of assessment, something like that. And in this case, where will you take your learning outcomes from? Of course, from the program from the syllabus, and the syllabus from the curriculum. So curriculum is the biggest one. Then that's why to define curriculum, it is very hard. It is complex, because to define curriculum is for, if you say curriculum is a document, is not enough. Curriculum is a kind of lesson planning, is not enough. Curriculum is what is it? Product is not enough. So curriculum is very wide in definition. So curriculum is not only a product; it is also a process. Curriculum is guidance for everything in teaching, not only the guidance, but curriculum is the experience of learning itself. So curriculum is something like a wider one. So the syllabus is a little bit specific, and the teaching program is the least specific things. So let me give you the steps in structuring curriculum. This is usually, what is it? Before going to learn, we need to know the curriculum. Before making curriculum, we need to make a kinds of analysis, the so-called need analysis. To know the curriculum, we have to know the background. We have to know the factors around this, the surrounding factors, and so on. We need to know the tracer study. I mean, the market signal of the things that you have to achieve. For example, the curriculum of FKIP to be teachers of English. How many English teachers would be needed after this, for example? So everyone should know this to make a kinds of good curriculums in this case. Then selecting materials, and then metricing, or making metrics of material review, and then counting up the credits, and then making a kinds of aspect of the the knowledge that the students should achieve, and so on and so forth. And after that, the curriculum is made. This is called curriculum. So curriculum contains many things over there. Contains the credits, and then the time, hours, achievement, and then the testing methods, teachers, students, and so on, and global thing over there. So in Indonesia, curriculum is changing every time. So if you look at this particular history in the curriculum, in 1947 we have the so-called lesson plan specified in lesson plan elaboration. In Indonesia we call this as rencana pembelajaran dirinci dari rencana pembelajaran terurai in 1947. And then in 1964 we have primary education or primary school plan. And then 68 we have primary school curriculum, until we have now the so-called curriculum 2013, or 13 curriculum something, 13K, curriculum 13K. This is the most recent curriculum now in Indonesia. Before that we have a curriculum of ULEG, unit level of education curriculum, KTSP ya kalau dulu ini. And then curriculum content competence based curriculum, this is called CPS atau Indonesia we have this one. Okay, so during the Indonesian as a state from 1945, the curriculum is changing how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. Yeah. So from the 1945 to 1915, the curriculum, revised curriculum of 13 curriculum. So curriculum is something like a guidance. So how do we define curriculum? Curriculum is what is taught at school, the subject, the lesson, the subject, the whatever you want to talk in it. Curriculum is a set of subjects. Curriculum is content. Curriculum is a sequence of courses. Curriculum is a set of performance objective and so on. So in short, curriculum give you guides as teachers. You have to know the curriculum as your guides. Curriculum also answer these questions. What outcomes do we want? So as I told you earlier, that learning outcome is very important, and when you ask the statement of the outcomes, then you have to look at the curriculum. Okay, what content is therefore needed? What is the content of the what is the outcomes? What things, what aspects of the subjects you teach? Things like that is in the curriculum. How can that best be taught or learned? I mean, what is it? The methods. This is talking about the method, the learning methods or learning teaching methods in the curriculum. You can see it. How do we best assess that assessment? You can also look at the curriculum in the curriculum. How do we evaluate all processes, all our curriculum? So curriculum is very broad, but it is the document. I mean, definition in terms of document. But curriculum is not document only. So curriculum can be as an end or a process. As an end means the curriculum is a means of guides, a means of guide in teaching. Curriculum can be a process of teaching, right? But curriculum can also be a process. It means that curriculum is all the process what you are going to teach. I mean, teaching and learning is going well, and because of the curriculum. And curriculum is something. Is curriculum life or dead? This is also things that you have to find out. Dead curriculum or live curriculum, what are they? Dead curriculum is the curriculum that is not used. Live curriculum is the curriculum that is used and meaningful to the activities. And there are so many things to talk about the curriculum. So in short, I can say that curriculum is a means or guidance for teachers to teach, the big guidance for not only for teachers but also for the institutions. Curriculum is all experiences that the children or the learners have under the teaching guidance. So describing the experience that the learners will have, this is curriculum. So when you go to the SMP, for example, and then you are asking what kinds of curriculum in SMP, curriculum SMP seperti apa, then you know all the things about the learning, all the experience that the teacher should or the students should do at that particular things. It's called curriculum too. So curriculum is also the content, I mean the course of the things. Then, but curriculum is also the experience. Talking about what kinds of activities should the teachers, the learners take during the learning process. That's why it is called experience. So in this case, the curriculum describes things like teaching method, teaching procedures, teaching assignments, or even the kinds of activities that the students should do in that particular learning. This is called curriculum as experience. And curriculum is a plan and also a process. A plan means whatever you want to do. I mean, whatever you are going to do in teaching is packaged in a curriculum. So curriculum tell you everything about your planning in particular time for particular lesson and for particular program. But curriculum is also a process. It means that you are making the process happens. Make it happens, because only a plan is not good. So you have to make it happen. So in this case, curriculum is a process. So and that's why curriculum is very important. So if I ask you some question like this, what is a curriculum? Is it a product? And the answer will be yes, it is a product, because it gives you a document of whatever you are doing, you are going to do in teaching and learning. That's why it is a product. It also tells you what kinds of materials will you give, how many times, and what is it, in what methods, and so on. And then the next question is a process? Is it a process? Is curriculum a process? Yes. Why is it a process? Because you will make the things happen. What I mean is all what you plan in the curriculum should happen in the class. It means that you should do something over there, and then you have to make it happen. It means that this is a process of, what is it, process of learning from the very beginning to the end, and finally you can evaluate whether things you have to do is going well or not. Is curriculum a document? Yes, as I said earlier that curriculum is a product. That's why it is a document. If you ask question, what things can we see about curriculum? You see a document, right? Document in the form, the document is called curriculum of something. Jadi itu sebuah dokumen yang Anda lihat nanti. Kurikulum tahun ini, kurikulum kursus ini, misalnya Anda punya kursus atau pesantren, misalnya kurikulum pesantren A, gitu, something. The document, but the document is not dead. The document is alive. What I mean is the document will bring you something to finish. This is called alive. Is it an experience? Yes. Why? Because all the documents tells the experience of the teacher and learners. The documents also tells the plan of learning experience, something like what you have to do is like this, what the teacher should do like this, and then what the learners should do is like that, and so on. So finally you can say that, okay, curriculum is an experience. Is a curriculum end or beginning? Both end and beginning. What I mean is, in the beginning of the teaching, you need curriculum, right? Because you have to be able to plan. You have to be able to see what you are going to do in the teaching and what your learners or your students are going to do in the teaching. But at the end of the teaching, you need curriculum because you need to evaluate what you are teaching about. Is your teaching effective or not? To try to find. So the end and the beginning. Is a curriculum life or death? As I told you earlier, that curriculum is both life and death. If the curriculum is okay, the curriculum is not used, and then to be a document and to be an archive and to be something that historical, that is historical, then you said that this is that curriculum. But if curriculum is still used, then you say this is a live curriculum. So the last question is very important. Does a curriculum have one or more than one definition? Of course, you can answer this question, right? So there are so many books. If you read the book that I sent, you will see several kinds of definition of curriculums. So curriculums can be defined in several ways, and there are challenges to define this curriculum, but you still you have to read definition, but definition is useless when you cannot digest the themes. I mean, what kinds of thing curriculum is, and I think you need to read more about this. Okay. So the next one is I need to, what is it? Now, curriculum and syllabus. Yeah, you may listen many times these terms, curriculum and syllabus, but things that you have to define is what is curriculum and what is syllabus. Which one is a bigger, curriculum or syllabus? Curriculum is the plans, as I told you, the plan for instruction. Curriculum is a product, curriculum is a process, curriculum is an experience, and so on and so forth. But all the things about curriculum is, what is it, talking about the very bigger one, and the smaller one is the syllabus. So syllabus is the so-called syllabus when it is subject oriented. I mean, syllabus tells the concept to be taught specifically, but the curriculum is talking about the objectives, content, maths, and so forth. So curriculum is the course, for the course, and for the bigger than the course, syllabus is for the subject. So English syllabus mean the curriculum of English. What I mean is the guidance of teaching English syllabus. English syllabus for course, certain level. English syllabus for SMP, first student, first grade, and so on. This is syllabus. So syllabus is the subset of the curriculum, and the curriculum is the subset, something like that. So that's the definition. Because to have definitions, I think you have to read more about the. You have to know the examples of curriculum. And it is important for you to, what is it, to see the examples of curriculum in, maybe you can go to Google search and then write down the curriculum, and then you know the form of the curriculum, the document of the curriculum, and then you can read the curriculum, the content of the curriculum, and so on. So far, any questions? So today's topic is not interesting actually, but it is still important for your knowledge. Yeah, because to define curriculum is not easy. At least you know what kinds of things curriculum is, and what kinds of aspect content of taken, or what kind of aspect you can see in the curriculum. I think the most important thing is later on about material development. Okay, no questions?
I think I will ask the question, sir.
Okay.
Where do we get the curriculum, sir?
Okay, that's a good question, Ambali. So curriculum, you can get the curriculum if you, what you mean by the curriculum in this case is a formal curriculum. For example, in SMP or SMP, you can take the curriculum from the Dinas or the, what is it, the Kementerian, Directorate of Curriculum in Jakarta. But usually the documents are what is it, posted many times in several web, I think. So, but for teachers, formal teachers, I think usually you can get the curriculum from the Dinas or from the Kepala Sekolah or something. Or you can go to this Google search to find the document. So it is very easy to find the curriculum. But the question is, which one is the formal versions of the curriculum that you want to take? So the formal version usually is launched by the Directorate of the in the Ministry of Education, ya, dikeluarkan di Kementerian Pendidikan biasanya namanya kurikulum. So in the curriculum, if you want to know the all bodies of curriculum, I mean the all documents of curriculum, I think what I mean is what you need to know is actually to read all the curriculum, but specifically you have to know the in Indonesian context today KD, KI, KD ya. KD itu apa, kompetensi dasar. In the curriculum it is stipulated there. KI, KD-nya kelas 2, kelas bahasa Inggris kelas 1, SMP, kelas SD dan seterusnya ada semua di situ. You can see there in the curriculum document, and the document can be found everywhere in the virtual web, I think. Itu ya, Mambali. If you are not sure that the curriculum you take is a formal curriculum or not, you can ask the teacher or the headmasters or something like that. More questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, no problem.
Is the curriculum adjustable, or because it is in a national range, we are not allowed to adjust it according to the students we teach?
Could you repeat your questions?
Because the curriculum is usually in the national range, are we allowed to adjust it according to the students we teach?
Yeah, if you want to adopt an international curriculum, what is it for? The question is, if, for example, if you adopt it for your course, your own course, English course, or you have your own school, then it is okay. You can adopt it by taking or putting some some aspects over there, and then you can use as your teaching guides. But if you adopt it for formal schools like SD, SMP, or SMA, you have to discuss with the authorities. Authorities, for example, there are many schools, SD or SMP or SMA, which offer some international contents. I mean, not curriculum, but international contents adopted from international curriculum, but not by changing the curriculum, but just inserting some aspects of language lesson over there, not changing the curriculum. But if you want to use the curriculum, the international curriculum for your school, then it's okay. For example, or for your course. If you have a course, then you make the curriculum by adopting or adapting the international curriculum from Cambridge, for example. That's good. But if you want to just put some international aspects of English teaching in the formal school, just take the materials, not changing the curriculum, because curriculum is we cannot change the curriculum by individually. Because if you want to change the curriculum, then you need institutions, you need a workshop, and then you need a kinds of meetings with many important parties of them. And then you change every 4 years or 5 years, something like that. So what I mean by what is allowed for you as teachers is actually not the curriculum, but the syllabus. You can change the syllabus. You can not changing the syllabus, but you can change the material guides or guidance over there from the international curriculum, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. More questions, please. Okay, at least today you have the information about the definitions of the curriculum. You can write it down as your, what is it, your important information, because one of the, what is it, kisi-kisi, kisi-kisi is a specification of the UAS, and UTS will be meeting 1 and meeting 2 about curriculum, about the syllabus, and about the Indonesian curriculum. About why curriculum is very important will be parts of the, what is it, the questions of the UAS or UTS later on. So remember that meeting 1 and meeting 2, or today will be, today was, I mean, just now was the meeting 1, and then meeting 2, we are talking about the differences between curriculum and syllabus in particular ways. What I mean is talking about the importance of syllabus or curriculum in English language teaching. Yeah. So what kinds of curriculum, what kinds of syllabus in language teaching, I will give you some explanation or examples of such things. I wish you read my the book that I sent. But later on, will if I get the what is it, the previous material, but the newest materials, I will send it to Hambali. But things that you have to, what is it, to keep in mind is that I will not again, that I will not give you the slides. Ya. Jadi slide, jangan minta slide ke saya ya. Jadi sekali lagi slide-nya tidak saya bagikan. Kenapa? Karena Anda bisa cari slide di mana-mana. Slide itu tidak terlalu penting, yang penting adalah isinya, apa namanya, isi bukunya. Jadi nanti you can read the book and then make a kinds of points. Jadi setiap meeting saya kasih poin yang akan keluar di UTS atau UAS ya. Jadi tadi saya bacakan kan sudah poinnya untuk first meeting, apa itu tentang what is curriculum, what is syllabus, what is the different, atau why is kurikulum important. Berarti sudah 3 poin kan itu untuk itu. Nanti ada setiap meeting saya tolong diingatkan untuk meringkas poinnya yang akan menjadi kisi-kisi soal. Seterusnya sampai situ gitu ya. Okay. I think that's all for today. So I told you earlier, as I told you earlier, that this is the first meeting. Then every meeting I will not be until the end of the hours ya. Jadi saya tidak selalu sampai akhir jamnya sesuai itu, tetapi mungkin ada tugas yang akan saya sampaikan. Makanya tugasnya assignment itu bagian dari meeting yang hilang tadi gitu. Sehingga meetingnya tidak selalu pas. Jadi misalnya hari jam 10.40 sampai jam berapa harusnya? Jam 11.10. 10-an ya, dari sampai kadang-kadang sampai jam 12.10, tapi jarang, mungkin ini karena pertama ya, mungkin nanti sampai ini, tapi kadang-kadang ada yang tidak ada meeting Zoom, tapi ada tugas. Nah biasanya tugas-tugas saya terkait dengan teknologi, sehingga Anda harus punya YouTube channel tadi. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.